Got to give the people what they want. Welcome to another edition of Power to the People radio show. Welcome to our Atlanta audience. Welcome to the Buffalo audience. Welcome to everybody in between, Lottie Dottie and everybody. We got so much to talk about today. Well, do me a favor, if you are on social media, give us a thumbs up, put us in the algorithms, whether you're on Facebook or whatever platform you're on. Some way engage a little bit so that others, and then, don't be afraid to share this show. Welcome to the live audience who's with us right now on this beautiful day in Buffalo.
Beautiful.
I'm grateful. I am not the complainer, except when this season is so cold, I see my breath. Other than that, bring it on.
Now, there was a few days this week where it felt like it was already fall.
Yeah.
I went to practice the other night and had to almost pull a hoodie out. It was so cold.
Well, on those days, I just stay in the house, man. I'm like, I don't want to be disappointed. Matter of fact, I was out last night and went to down by the waterfront.
Okay.
And it was blocked off. I don't know if they have an event or something down there. You could only drive up to where the restaurant is.
Okay.
And park, and then there was barriers up. I don't know what was going on, but after I decided, I don't. Do I want to? And took top down and went down that way, and just came on back home.
Yeah, just
I wasn't in a walking mood.
Right.
I wasn't in a walking talking mood. That's what I should say. I was just in a driving mood, but not a walking talking mood.
Yeah, I hear you.
A lot going on here in Buffalo. Roscoe Henderson, if those of you in Atlanta or other places, our school board has been going through it in Buffalo. Our superintendent abruptly resigned, went into a meeting, resigned. There are allegations that are in court right now. And there was a school board member who resigned. Now, let me say this, and I don't know if I said this on another show. So the Board of Education chose a person to fill the vacant seat of one of his school board members who also abruptly resigned.
Yes.
These abrupt, at least when I was there. I stayed about 3 years. I gave him time. I'm like, listen, I'm out, and you got like a month or so to, but these abrupt resignations.
These are effective immediately.
I'm gone. Now, and I hope that board members do not take this wrong because I've been there. When I went to the board, we immediately, as Paul Buchanan and I, Don Every, we were all three elected as at-large members. Okay. Which is one of the toughest races you can run. Citywide. Every vote counts. And we went in, and although we may have been somewhat opponents for the race, we weren't opponents. When you get elected, to me, stop all the crap and work for whatever or whoever has elected you. We have board training, like by great city schools and professionals who understand school board service. Mm-hmm. I hope the school board, if they haven't done it, that they do the same. We had retreats, weekend retreats. Now, let me tell you why. School boards are different than city councils. Yeah. City council, you elected independently. Of course, you elected independently on school board. However, there's a huge difference. On a city council, you can fight all day. People still got to live in the city. Right. They still want services. They're going to be here. Absolutely. It's different with school boards. Yes. When a school board fights and when they publicly lose public confidence, it affects your school system. Yes. And the decisions, the decisions that parents make about putting their children in schools. Absolutely. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote. No, you should vote your conscience. You should vote for what you feel is right. But you got to be careful in the messaging. Yes. Because university and Maston District, and I'm just using those, they don't have to agree. Right. But the people, they ain't just leaving their homes. Right. Absolutely. Right? They may leave because of community blight. They may leave because of crime. But they ain't leaving because two council members are going at it online. No, and like you said, it's part of a bigger system. So if I lose confidence in the superintendent or one board member, I lost confidence in the whole system. Absolutely. And that's where the challenge comes in when I'm making that decision on where to send my kid to school. I shared with, I'll say it, Sharon Belton-Copman, who contacted me this week, that school board needs help with messaging. Yes. I don't care what anybody says. Some of those interviews have been train wrecks, and there are parents who are starting to say, I'm out. And these are the parents who can afford to do it. Right. They are looking for, even though charter schools are technically public schools. Yes. They have their own board. Right. So I truly believe you're going to see a upswing in charter school applications. I agree. Now, we have some charter schools that are going to be here tomorrow for our not gospel, our health fair, and I just don't think in a few weeks that they're gonna have any trouble.
No,
finding students whose parents are saying, "I'm losing faith in the Buffalo Public Schools," and that's where I think that is so important, the messaging that we're seeing.
And to that, we're not saying we've lost confidence. We're saying, we're saying we're speaking from the cloud of dust that's coming out of the community. That's like, hey, what is going on there? Because I can't say that if my child was there, like I would have to be calling for a meeting with my representative, like, hey man, like what's going on the school board? Where is your stance? Just like how we talk about with our council members and our county legislators and our Congress people and our state reps, you can request a meeting with your school board member for your district so that they hear from you directly about your concerns. You voted for them as well. So that's something, that's a place you can go and support as well. Because as we talk about on the show, education is the most important thing. And the longer we kind of just let it go and fly by night, not holding our school board members accountable and our superintendent accountable, we keep seeing another generation that's reading under the level, knowing math under a current level, and we're just letting these kids drift into the job force, and they're not ready.
Yeah, and so I totally agree. And again, I mean, you kind of said it. This isn't anything against the school board. Like I said, I didn't run for the school board. Again, my heart, I'm grateful for anybody who would sit on that board. But you have to realize that it's different than city government, state government, and all that, because people, if you live in the state of New York, you in the state of New York. You might decide to leave, but it's not going to be a mass exodus because of fighting on a New York City board. Speaking of New York City, Penn Station, the iconic, the historic Penn Station in New York. That, matter of fact, I just took a picture of riding past in a taxi in New York. Now it is being talked about to name Penn Station Trump Station.
Okay.
Because he would not, allegedly, he released a lot of money from the federal government to update Penn Station, the mechanics of it and all that. But now they're talking about we should name Penn Station Trump Station. Why? Because he does not feel Penn Station because it's in New York, should be named after Pennsylvania. Now, I never knew that's what I just know Penn Station, and I think we losing it. We just losing
just a little bit.
We're losing this like we're losing this war. I think that this war has surprised the president, and that he thought that he could bomb them. Oh, I hope all these words, that he could, attack them.
Yes.
And that they would just go away and be done, and they're not. Every time he attacks, they don't attack the United States. They attack our bases, our interest in other areas. So they still have capability. And tonight, this Friday night, is the press dinner that was canceled. Secret Service is saying publicly that the head of Secret Service said today on the news that, and don't quote me, but basically, he has never seen a higher threat than right now in his 24 years of service.
Well, I can get into his 24 because because that would put you back to right after 9/11. So that's kind of crazy. Like
24 years.
24 years. And that's a year after 9/11. That's a wild statement to say. But I would say after 9/11, even though the terror level was high, we didn't have the fear of going against each other.
Okay.
And I think that's where we are now. There is so much hate speech and hate rhetoric and it's keeping the pot boiling in America. And I think that's where I can understand his point, because where we can control what's coming in from outside enemies or whatever, you don't know, somebody could pop off in this country, and now you're like, okay, I got to investigate internal threats, and
that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And a lot mental health situations,
Yeah.
involuntary placement.
Yeah.
Folks, whether you know it or not, the government, especially the federal government,
Yeah.
can throw you in an institution
Oof.
or throw you in jail if they think that you're a threat. Until
Absolutely.
if he's in town, he was just in Georgia,
Yep.
Atlanta, with a lot of boos. He got booed at the World Cup.
He got what was the sporting event before that he was at and got booed? Oh, the NBA Finals in New York City.
I'll stop going after a while. You go to the World Cup, and then this is the sadness. When it's time to present the trophy from an organization that you are not a part of, sir,
No.
he goes down on the stage.
Yep.
And then when it was supposed to be just the team picture, he stands there like he's their president.
And you ain't allowed to rock it with Spain.
And do you know what they did? They AI'd him out.
Good for them.
They AI'd the president out of the photo. As a matter of fact, their local media, when he was doing it, and, they were translating it,
Right.
was like, why is he on the stage?
Right.
Why? And then one of them said, oh, they'll just AI that out. And so you see the picture where he's on the side, and even the head of FIFA has moved out of the way
right.
and trying to grab him.
Yes.
And he just stands there, and the official photo, there is no president. I can't believe we're living in these times.
I can't either. This is new. I think this is new, and President Obama brought the use of social media into campaigning and politics. But this is on a whole new level. We got a president that's openly trading on the market. We have a president that created his own social media platform. We have a president that is more focused on what camera can point on him and what he can say. And now it's just when we decided to talk more national on the show, it was because people want to hear about, unfortunately, what Donald Trump is doing on a weekly basis. The problem is we got a 1 hour show. We can't give you everything he's doing.
Absolutely. Because every week is something else. I don't want to go to Penn Station.
No.
Got Duncan here. Duncan, what's up, my man?
Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Bring that mic closer.
Yeah, no, I think it's not on. All right, there you go.
Good afternoon, y'all.
What you working on something, right? Let me just get into your head right now. What's your thoughts about what's happening in the world?
I think that we are living in a very unique time. And I think that 20, 30 years from now, we will study this period in America like we studied Jim Crow in the South.
Wow.
I think when you're in a moment, it's hard to see it for the historical context of how much of a watershed moment it is one way or another. But I think when we look back, we will look at the Roe v. Wade being repealed. We'll look at some of the other Supreme Court cases.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look at national monuments being changed. We'll look at how our elections are run and the commentary around that, how media gets access to elected officials and the White House. We will look at this time and we will say, "You lived through that?"
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
What was it like back in the
yeah.
What was it back in the 40s?
Yeah.
What was that life like when you talk to your grandparents? People will ask us about that this time in 10 and 20 and 30 years when they're studying the insurrection where they're a group of people tried to overthrow our government and hang our vice president to force a legal election change of the results. Like, people are going to say, this was an outrageous era, and we're gonna say, yeah, we lived through that.
Yeah,
we were still trying to figure things out as we go.
That's a really good point, and I totally agree with you. You got something in your lap. Now you already this is your second book, so you already have one book out, and now you're on to your second book, and this book is a lot different. I mean, same concept, but the audience is different.
Yeah, so I'm excited to announce that I am releasing my second book. It's called A Kid's Book About Grit. I'm releasing this in partnership with DK Books and Penguin Random House.
Oh, wow.
So this is being published by international publishers. So it'll be translated into multiple languages across multiple countries. It'll be sold all over the world. And I'm so excited. And if I'm being honest, my first book was a huge success. I'm so grateful to everybody that supported. I wrote my first book, Rerouting Resilience Tools and Tactics, for young people and young professionals and educators to build resilience and grit, right? And I self-published it.
Yeah.
And even though I sold over 50,000 copies around
congratulations.
Thank you. Around the country, school districts use it as part of their curriculum. Teachers use it as far as their staff development. Like, it is like doing really well. Because I self-published it, some people in academia have this like air that it's like, oh, you just self-published. You know what I mean? Like, it's
you just went to the copy machine.
Yeah,
right.
You're not a real author.
Right.
So this new book, number one, is going to affect younger people, because a lot of school leaders have told me that we need to start younger developing resilience and grit with young people. So this book is for kids ages 5 to 9.
Yeah.
And for parents to start these conversations about resilience, grit, doing hard things. But also, if I'm being honest with y'all, it's like, what y'all gonna say now? You know what I mean?
love
like,
it,
it's
bro.
like, you know, like in the midst of all adversity, somebody just trying to figure it all out. I don't have all the answers, all the information, just trying to learn and grow and build. I was able to publish an international book with a publisher that is known around the world.
Yeah.
And so like that makes me feel good and validated in a way that, you know, I probably shouldn't need that validation, but if I'm a person. And so it does give me that joy and that excitement that, like, look, I got a book and it's published by a publisher. We got a publisher team. We got a marketing team. Mark, my PR person called Mark, you know what I'm saying? My PR person setting up interviews, you know, from London. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm really grateful at how many lives this book is going to touch. And we're excited to launch it. The official launch date is Tuesday, the 28th.
You haven't
28th.
even, so we're getting it before it's even launched out there.
We're in the pre-sale phase of it right now. So Tuesday is the official launch, and this interview kicks off my kind of launch week.
Yeah.
So then we'll do an interview on Monday with Buffalo What's Next on the PBS station. Then, but Monday night I'm flying to Birmingham to do a book reading at a bookstore in Birmingham, Alabama. They come back Tuesday night. Wednesday do an interview on Daytime Buffalo. Thursday we're doing this big literacy party at Gloria J. Parks. So we're gonna have like 200 kids. We're gonna have like DJs, King Shah to be there, music. We bring in an international children's entertainer, and I'm gonna read the book for the kids for the first time. So it'll be like 200 kids, and we're focusing on literacy and making it exciting and fun as I read this book, and they get to meet an author. I'll be signing books and stuff. And then next Saturday I'll be on WFO We the Parent Show.
So so some parent who's listening, and we know the age range now. What they should expect when will their child read the book, or is this a book that adults read to children?
So I would say if you're dealing with a 5 or a 6-year-old, the parent would probably read it to them. If you're dealing with a 7 or 8 or a 9-year-old, then the kid could read it themselves. It's written very, kid friendly. So DK Books has a series called A Kid's Book About. Okay. So they have like a kid's book about boundaries, a kid's book about kindness, a kid's book about music, et cetera, et cetera. So mine is a kid's book about grit. Okay. And so they have like a really cool format they have of creating the books. The font is like very like typographic, and so it's like big words and fun and exciting. Like, it's interesting to look keep turning the pages. And so a parent can expect me talking about grit in a way that a child can understand it. So sharing stories about my own failure and dealing with failure and not doing well, and dealing with failure and doing okay and pushing through it. So, for example, the first story in the book is I played Little League Baseball. So I played Little League Baseball at McCarthy Park when I was younger, and I was amazing. I was like so good, right? Then I turned 13. And I went from being the best kid with the major division to the smallest kid with the teenagers. Wow. And so in practice now, I suck compared to these 16-year-olds, and their fastball is going so fast. It's scary. I dropped the bat in the batter's box, right? And I end up giving up. It was too hard, and that's something I always regretted. Because, not to say I could have been pro or nothing, but I just loved it, and I gave up because it was hard. Right. So a parent can use that story to start a conversation about times they've had setbacks and they've had hard things, and then the need to push through them and not give up in that moment when it's hard. Then I share like other stories of like going through Army boot camp and how it was hard and I wanted to quit, but because I stuck with it, not only did I get through it, I grew, I learned, I had amazing experiences. So it's really written in a way so kids can like internalize these stories of like, okay, when I'm dealing with something hard, I can remember Mr. Duncan said, keep pushing. I can remember how his story, when he quit, he always regretted it. So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. So that's kind of what parents can expect.
Read for us one of your favorite parts. Do you have a favorite? I mean, probably all of it is your favorite part, but something that parents could hear, and then you could tell us where to get the book. And this is amazing that and just so proud. Our Atlanta audience, we're going to make sure you know where to get it, because now you can get it all over, and I'm sure it's going to be online.
And I was just getting ready to say, we dropped the link into our Facebook feed, so you can go ahead. Can they pre-order right now, Duncan?
Yep, they pre-order right now.
So you can pre-order on the link that's just dropped.
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, everywhere books are sold.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Okay, so this book says, after college, I joined the military. When I first told my sister, she couldn't believe it. She didn't think I was tough enough to make it through all the training, and at the time, she might have been right. But I wasn't going to give up this time. Training was hard. We woke up early, ran in our full uniforms on really hot days, and didn't get a lot of rest. It would have been way easier to say no thanks and figure out something else to do. But I wanted to change the world, and I felt I could make a difference here.
Wow. And I'm looking at, as you're going through it, the font. Because young minds can wander. And it looks as if you had a team, or I don't know if you did it, that said, this is the way you do this to get to young minds.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had, we got on a Zoom call with their graphics team, their publishing team, their editing team. It was like a whole group of people on Zoom from all over the world, and we stayed on there for like 6 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
And we went through a lot of the stories. We went through a lot of the graphics, the feel of it, what we want, what I want to convey, who am I, so it would be reflected. Like it was not me. I see the difference in working with a publisher and having a team to support creating something beautiful versus doing it on your own. And not to say you can't do it on your own, but the level of expertise that they were able to bring in is really going to make this book impactful.
But it's possible that if you had not done one on your own, that you might not be at this level. Because I know a lot of things that I did on my own that maybe didn't turn out the best. I won't even say the best. It gave me a launching pad. Yeah. And I think about when I first started here, and I'm in year 32. When I first started, the first sound system, because the sound system was so horrible, Terry and I went out to Radio Shack on a Friday night. Saturday, we installed it, and I thought it was it was better than what we had. But then when we got to the level where we could have professionals come in, it was like, oh, wow, this is why we needed this and that. And so I think in life, starting at the bottom is the best thing to do.
Yes, I agree.
Because you appreciate, I have friends who came out of seminary, got top churches, and just bombed, right? Because they didn't have any idea of how to deal with people, and so I think that's part of your whole story, man.
Yeah, and that's a lesson for everybody, for everything. That the small step that you take first, without all the information, without all the support, is the bravest step you got to take.
Yeah.
But if you take that step, you will learn so much. It will build a foundation that you can build all types of things from. But if you never take that first step, waiting for the perfect conditions. I hear people say so often, they engage 7 years. What you waiting for? Well, I'm waiting until I got this much money and this and this and this and this to give me. No, it's never going to be the perfect moment.
Never.
What are you waiting for to start that business? Well, we got to do this and this and political this. No, it's never going to be perfect, but we got to be brave enough to take the first step. That's why I always use that mentality, like live your life like a GPS. You don't have to know every step of the journey to be brave enough to take the first step. And that's how you live a life without regrets. You don't have to look back and say, I wish I would have tried this. I wish I would have started this, because you did. And some things are going to fail. But sometimes those failures are actually helpful. Like I'm reading this book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. One of his meditations, he thanks the gods for not being good at poetry because he loved poetry. And he said, if I had been good at poetry because I love it, I'd have been a poet. But because I wasn't good at poetry, because I failed at that, I ended up becoming a great leader and becoming Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest leaders in history, right? So it's like sometimes the failures or the setbacks or the shortcomings aren't meant to undermine us. They're actually helping us on our journey.
Well, I took organ lessons for years as a kid. I had a Wurlitzer organ in the house. I went to Oliver School of Music on Bailey and, learned how to read. And it just didn't click. But I wanted to be a musician. And if I'm positive, if I had have done well as a musician, I would not be a pastor.
Oh, I said the same.
I'm
the same way.
Yeah.
If God gave me a singing voice and the ability to play, oh man, God, yeah.
All I wanted to do was play.
Right.
I was always amazed by the musicians in our church, and I came up in the Methodist church where almost every musician could read music. Almost every musician was either a teacher, all that kind of stuff, and I wanted that. And I did. I remember playing the wedding march at my aunt's wedding. I would play, but I never, these guys that I have in my pit, I can't touch them, not even a teeny bit. I got a baby grand in my house. It doesn't get played by me, but I know now why, because I'd be over on the organ. There's nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't my calling.
That's right.
So where can you get the book?
So they can get the book anywhere books are sold. So Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Books A Million, whatever. If they type in a kid's book about grit, it'll come up on everything. Or if they type in Duncan Kirkwood book, it'll come up on everything. I think Mark has the link, so I'm sure they'll drop that. But just type in a kid's book about grit, and like I said, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And if they get it on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles, if they pre-order it, it'll be here on launch week, and they can bring it to the Thursday event I'm doing at Gloria J. Parks, that free event, and they can get it signed. So I'd be happy to sign that for individuals as well.
A kid's book about grit. Finally, define what grit is in your opinion.
Grit is the ability to do something consistently that is difficult. So to me, that's the simplest way I can explain it. Now, in a different conversation, I'll dive into metaphysics around being present, finding your purpose, knowing your true self, your essence, all of that stuff. But if you say, what's the easiest way to think about it? Can you do the hard work day after day, even when it's difficult? To me, that's grit. And when our young people have that ability, they can become an athlete, a musician, a pastor, an entrepreneur, a lawyer, whatever, because our young people nowadays, more than ever, are softer. Because our generation wanted to give them more than we had, just like our parents wanted to give us more than they had, it made their road easier, which is a blessing on one hand because now they have more information, more opportunity, more access. But the other hand is they didn't get the hard work mindset. They didn't get the grit mindset. So we got to get back to putting that in to the way that we develop young people so that they understand, like, stuff is going to be hard.
Yeah.
But if you can stay with it, that day you want to give up, do it 3 more days.
Yeah.
That time you don't think you're smart enough, just try another hour.
Yeah.
Right? And you push a little bit through that tough, and you say, okay, little progress, that's all you need to say, okay, I can keep going. And that mindset will take them to help them reach their potential.
Well, I think the book is going to be, I think it's going to surprise you. I think it's going to be used by adults too. I can imagine, because it's an easy read with a lot of knowledge, right? With a lot of not just motivation, but information that causes transformation. And so I can imagine ministries even using it. I was like, I probably need to be reading this at my leaders meeting. And so congratulations to all the success and for sticking with it.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on. Giving me this opportunity to kind of share about this, and support you always give me, Pastor. Like, even when I text you, I'm like, yo, I got this going on. You're like, all right, I'll be free tomorrow. We can talk it out. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. And then I want to just shout out Marc. Thank you, because when I was writing my first book, I got writer's block, and I got stuck for like 3 weeks until I talked to Marc right here in True Bethel.
Wow.
And Marc gave me some encouragement to help me push through that time to finish that first book. So I don't want you to think I ever forgot that, because I haven't. Right?
And I was getting ready to say, and I appreciate you. And just on the feed, people are congratulating you and saying how much you are inspiring them to finish their book. India saying she has a children's book, and now you're pushing her to get hers out there. So there's a lot of feedback on the timeline of just how you're inspiring them. And even talking about grit, it's almost the same definition of discipline. But to write these books, you have to be very disciplined, because if not, this project turns into a 10-year waiting period. So I say congratulations to you as as well. And we following you from your speaking engagements, this, that, and the other. You need to get a DuncanKirkwood.com page so you can sell your own stuff, so you don't have to keep pushing to Amazon and everything else. But
I do.
okay.
Oh no.
Do you have a page?
Yeah. You go to DuncanKirkwood.com. You get I got curriculum.
So you got to stop telling people to go to Amazon. They need to become DuncanKirkwood.com.
The publisher wants me to use the Genius link because that helps with the rankings and stuff.
Got you.
New York Times bestseller list.
Okay.
We're trying to get to and stuff like that.
Well, let me just say this before we go to commercial. I put in Duncan Kirkwood. All I put in was in Google.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan Kirkwood, first lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you're an officer.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big. Top youth speakers.
Wow.
This is not on his page. Wow. It's on the page of top youth speakers. Open Buffalo, Penguin Random House. Is that the new company?
Publisher, yeah.
Oh, it's on here. Duncan Kirkwood is a global I love reading this. Is a global resilient speaker, author, and educator dedicated to inspiring individuals. Bruh, you ain't but then if you look over on the Google summary, the picture of Duncan is standing in 907.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you look on the Google, it's Duncan Kirkwood speaks, and then you got this picture of him in front of the purple curtains. This
you
is
don't remember what that's
absolutely
from?
No, I don't.
That was when I did my first book launch.
Are you serious?
We did that here at True Bethel.
This is cityyear.org, Little Rock. This is just, I could do this all day. Listen, folks, I got to pay the commercial. Don't forget, all you got to do is put in
Kids Book About Grit.
Kids Book About Grit. Buy it early. I'm going to get some for he knows I'm going to get some for the church, for our youth, for our children's group. And we're going to use it on Sunday mornings until they get through the entire book right here. I encourage you, do the same. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. We'll be right back.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
All right, we're back, and that was just amazing. So those of you, no matter what market you're in, go ahead and get this book. I'm telling you, that's amazing, and I'm proud of them.
Absolutely.
Let me do a little local, then we're going to talk about Nolan Wells' case. Famous Donuts coming back.
I saw.
But not with the same owners. Now, somebody just said online, you can have a recipe, but you can't cook it the same. So we're gonna see.
I was gonna say you can have the name and the recipe, and it'd be totally different because we've seen this before in relaunches, and you're like, yeah.
All I'm gonna say is this: we the ones who have Kwanzaa, and you know what I said. Yep. It's gonna be next year for me, Kwanzaa all year. I don't want to hear it for a week. I want to hear it all year. And other folks, they come and they buying everything because it's other folks buy this. other folks buying this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Our neighbors to the left, to the right, new neighbors.
And sometimes you get mad at government, but we the ones selling it to them. So don't get mad. Don't get mad at the people downtown when
Government ain't doing that.
when your cousin sold the property.
Let's talk about Nolan Wells. No. Let me talk about St. Anne's local. Here in Buffalo, we got a big, humongous church that used to be in my district. Still is in Ellicott. But old Catholic church, and, when flight happened in the city, they left these mammoth buildings. And then we buy them, of course, and then it's hard to keep them up.
Right.
The building has been standing vacant since I was elected, and that was over 13 years ago.
Right.
I tried to get it. Well, I couldn't get it knocked down because preservationists said, "Oh, don't! It's beautiful," and it was.
Yes.
St. Anne's Church tried to keep it open, so I say big ups to those folks who I worked with and the neighborhood.
Yep.
It wasn't in as bad a condition as it is now because it's caught fire twice now.
And I was getting ready to say, and it's not just the church for concept. It's the rectory. It's the school.
It's huge.
It's a huge parcel of land.
It's a campus.
Yes.
And it's caught on fire twice. People breaking in it, vagrants. And I stand with the councilwoman and I stand with the neighbors. This is horrible.
Yes.
Now, you can blame the city, but that's, to me, unfair because it's not a city-owned property.
No.
This city is already in financial trouble, trying to dig out. It's going to come down sooner or later. The mayor says he's going to make the people who own it pay, and I 100% agree. But I'm going to tell you this. I think it's very unlikely that they're going to pay.
Right.
Number one, because I think that if they have money, that they would have already done something with the building. It is owned by, according to city website,
Buffalo Crescent Holdings.
Buffalo Crescent Holdings, which, folks, is probably an LLC.
Yes. Or
a shadow owner, which means you will never get a dime out of the individuals.
Right.
Because the asset is that's the only, we looked it up, that's the only thing they own that we can find in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably created it just for that building.
I was going to say, when one of the news agencies caught the owners and a contractor on site, they referred to their lawyer.
Yep.
So that's just the cost of doing business.
Yep. And even the address seems to be a law office.
Yes.
Of where they are at. I think that there needs to be some type of legislation worked on, and I think I heard the mayor talk about something about, out of town owners. I don't know if these are out of town owners or not, but we got to have something that would force. You can't have a car and not have insurance.
No.
The problem is these buildings are almost impossible to insure because of the threat. But I stand with the neighbors and anything that can be done. I think, and I don't care. The building needs to come down. That's my personal opinion. I don't see, unless somebody has millions of dollars upon millions, this building ever being functional again. And the neighbors should not have to deal with it. And I don't care whether it's Atlanta or whether it's in Buffalo, it's often easier for absentee landlords to leave these buildings in areas that are already struggling. Because, as my councilwoman said, it would not happen in other areas. And I totally agree.
Yeah, and that's just the tragic thing, about any of these buildings that are waiting on preservation, that are waiting on development, adaptive reuses, anything that, it is up to the property owners to keep them protected. Right now, we had to buy city resources to put up Jersey barriers and fencing to prevent. That's not going to stop everybody, as we can see with the second and third fires, right? So it is up to them to prevent it, but after a while, it's you have to do something to protect the integrity of the neighborhood, because nobody wants to take care of their property, take care of their house, and then look across the street.
And those owners over there, many of them have been there for decades.
Yes.
And we know that our majority leader, her family owns a house over there.
Queen Eva Doyle.
Eva Doyle. These are people who take care of their properties. And so at the end of the day, whoever bought it, be responsible for it.
Yes.
Nolan Wells, an 18-year-old black football player, Southwest Mississippi. Mississippi Community College died after a July 4th boating trip to Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He went out with a group of friends on July 4th, but he did not return with them, and his body was found in the water 2 days later. And so now you've got national figures, Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, who are involved in kind of guiding and representing the family. Here's the problem. He goes out. So I think the biggest thing is he's a black male. He goes out with, it looked like all white. Friends, and he becomes separated from the group.
Yes.
Now, the government, of course, has done a autopsy, kind of no findings. And now the independent autopsy has kind of come back with the same thing. And so is this a case because he's black and was with white voters? And would this be a case if it wasn't?
I would say that I think that has partially something to do with it, but I also think it would be newsworthy anyway, only from the standpoint of there's too many different stories. So the one story,
I agree.
The one story is the friend saying, "Oh, he went to go hang with this girl, and then he came up missing." The girl says he left me, was supposed to be back with the friends. And then the friends end up with the phone at his house. That's where I think this starts.
Yeah, because how does a friend have his phone?
Right, exactly. If he's with one, so why would you think he went to go hang with his girl without the phone? And then the girl saying he went back, but then the friend takes the phone home without notifying, like, hey, he never came back. And like we all just go home like nothing happened. There's too much ambiguity here, and I think that's what makes it newsworthy. Whether it was black on black friends, white on white friends, whoever, I think at the end of the day, that is where we all have questions.
Kelly Diane says he went with friends and they all came back, but he died. At the very least, his parents deserve to know. I definitely agree. India, I might bring that up, India, about Wisconsin. I talked about that earlier before the show. I think because it's Mississippi, also,
yes, I would agree with that.
We're talking about the seat of racism at one point.
And I think, I forgot to mention, Tyler Perry and Colin Kaepernick paid for that independent autopsy as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Colin still got money.
Still got money. Hey, listen, some of his NFL contracts, people can talk about all you want taking a knee. He already had his guaranteed money before he took a knee, so he good.
Well, so now there's this question out there, and I just hope they don't sweep it under the rug and act like, okay, we couldn't find anything, because it seems to me you need a deep dive investigation. And I guess the friends are cooperating allegedly, but it's just weird. You go on a boat trip, you leave, and it was like a little island, right?
Yeah.
How was he supposed to get home?
Yeah, this is where all the confusion is, and even like you said with the autopsy, I'm looking at the note. There was parts of his throat that was taken out in the initial autopsy, so it couldn't be examined by the independent autopsy. There was a 12-inch red discoloration on the back of his head, and the report doesn't conclude whether that was caused by trauma, decomposition, or another process. So it's now all of these different things. It says toxicology is still pending, and so now you're just left with all these questions. Did he drown? And if he drowned by himself, no one went looking for him. Everyone just goes home. Was he conscious? Was there bodily harm done to him before he went missing? And I think without some of these answers, that's where this country, and all of the activists and just solid, upright people want the answers.
Yeah, and I think they deserve the answers. I for one, am glad that there is national attention, because it's just too many unanswered questions. I'm looking for this about the police in Wisconsin. So there's an area in Wisconsin that where there was a police-involved shooting. Here is what the summary I saw on the news in the last couple of days. Allegedly, police are called to a scene of someone looking into cars. They allegedly try to make a stop. When they go to make the stop, the person rides off on a bike. There is a apprehension that is attempted allegedly. The person stabs a police officer allegedly. Everything is allegedly, folks, because I wasn't there. And they try to tase him. When the taser does not work, they shoot him and he dies.
And I'm looking at the bullets. It's multiple shots, so it wasn't just one. It was multiple shots after the taser didn't work. So you described it right. This is in Wisconsin's capital, Madison, and they've identified the man as Corey Ruiz, who was 38 years old.
Now, me and Sheila always go. Sheila Taylor says, that's back at the old story, but it's delayed. Yeah. So let me mix them all. She says black people are always mixing their kids with white kids, thinking that's a better upbringing. Sheila, I'm going to disagree with that. I think that you raise your kids where you want to raise your kids, and that this incident doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that. And I don't necessarily agree with it. My school district back in Delaware was predominantly white, but we had, we influxed and had a group of us, and we stuck together. But most of us had a large number of Caucasian friends. It's just what it was. Right.
And I went to birthday parties in certain neighborhoods, and sometimes my grandmother was like, "You going what part of Wilmington?" Yeah, no, that's not happening. So it is what.
But I'll say this: I think that sometimes we get so much into just let's be with us. That we are not exposed to anything else. We're not exposed to other cultures. We're not. My youngest daughter went to Nichols, but she knew who she was when she was at Nichols.
Oh, absolutely.
And I remember her wanting to start a protest one time, and I'm like, okay, but let's do this organized,
right,
before you get kicked out. But I did allow her to speak her mind, and she knew that she knew she was black. She knew the challenges she had,
absolutely.
That other students may not, and she spoke her mind about it. But I always love when Sheila comments, because we have another view, and so I have something else to go by. So let me get back to shoes. So they shoot the guy. We should be firing him. I don't know.
Yeah.
They unalive him, and so now they are in the streets in this town in Wisconsin. And the police commissioner, I believe, was trying to have a press conference yesterday, and the guy just comes in and said, "No, I'm taking over this," and snatches the mic. And the police, he just kind of moves back, like just let him go off, and had another conference later with no people. But it's the question, and I know somebody said, well, this might start another movement. I don't think it will. I think that people will be upset, but I think because when you talk about George Floyd, an unarmed man,
yes,
right, who is visibly with a knee on his neck and people saying stop, I think this will bring awareness, so there'll be discussion. But if you look at what's happening right now, a lot of the reforms from George Floyd, this crown that's getting fixed in 2 weeks so I can talk again.
Help us, Jesus.
Are being undone.
Yes, they are.
Across the United States. So there was all of these, because I know when I was council president, we did all kinds of reforms. And one of the ones that I'm disappointed in not seeing from some of the videos that I see locally, is we established that when you stop somebody, you had to give them your card card.
Yep.
And the stop receipt. And I don't know if that's happening. And I just encourage that to happen, because I'm watching, and I'm even locally.
Yep.
I'm kind of cautious. I'm kind of afraid of some of the reels I'm seeing or some of the videos I'm seeing recorded. And I don't want to see all that work go away,
right,
because of a lack of trust for our police force.
I'm split, and because I do think we have a culture that's also, when you have mass gatherings and you're understaffed as a police force, and you feel, any of us would do it, if we felt surrounded and threatened, you are on another threat or alert level. And so I feel for police in a certain sense. Does it give them the right to treat an individual a certain way? No, but again, put yourself in that situation. You are surrounded by a group of individuals. You are one officer, and they're surrounding you and coming in close, and all you're trying to do is break up the gathering or break up the situation. It becomes tough. No one can really say what you would do in that situation. So I feel for both sides. To your point, though, I think the most disheartening thing is we worked so hard after George Floyd. We spent hours and weeks and months in City Hall writing policy. We working with the group with the Carriers Law. We that became the focus for almost 6 to 8 months. And to see it get repealed, but it's also the culture of the country. Just like even all of the historic in the South, all of the schools and that were changing their name from Confederate people. Now they're all switching back. So it is where we started the show. This is the climate of this country, and with the hate rhetoric that's out there, I think it's easier to just start blaming people instead of saying, hey, let's get in the room. Let's talk through this. How can we all help each other? And like you said, and I think that's what puts the trust back on both sides of the equation.
Yeah, I think that if you start undoing too fast just because times have changed,
you end up with Jim Crow.
You may be forced to repeat.
Yeah.
The history, and that you got to really study why we made certain changes.
Yes.
And that trust, I ain't going to say that there's some huge trust here in the city, but I'm going to say it got better because we did openly work with groups. So if you openly work, this is just Darius Pridgen's thought. If you openly work with groups to put something in place, you got to openly work with people to take it away.
Absolutely.
Or else you return to that same type of attitude. And right now, you just heard the Secret Service say we had an all-time high threat right now. And I think with, like you just said, all the rhetoric that is going around. So the other day, I ended up in the middle of one. It wasn't a youth takeover.
Right.
But it was at least 100 youth in Cheektowaga.
Mm-hmm.
In Cheektowaga, up and down Harlem Road.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this for Cheektowaga police. I know that there were some arrests, but I listened. I got on the scanner.
Right.
And I heard somebody ask basically, should we swarm them? And I heard them say with my own ears, don't swarm them. For the most part, they're being respectable.
Right.
That meant the world to me. Because when I rode past, I ain't going to tell you no story. I ain't going to hold you. You ride through
That's what I'm saying.
150 kids. And they're crossing in the middle of the street. It is intimidating.
And I've been in it. We played in a game in Steubenville, Ohio last year, which is the border of West Virginia and Kentucky. And I'm in my car with one of my coaching buddy, and we're leaving, and we're surrounded by all of the high school students. And I have to honk my horn, and I'm getting cussed at as a grown adult. And I'm sitting here like, and he had to calm me down because I'm like, all I'm trying to do is get back home.
Yeah,
it's 10 o'clock at night.
Well, Florida had a youth takeover yesterday. Florida, Orlando. But let me tell you the difference. It's not African children. No, it's other children on electric bikes with helmets.
I can't.
This is the truth. But it was 100 of them or so, but they weren't stopping at stoplights.
Wow.
So an ambulance is trying to come through.
Yeah.
They're doing wheelies. But let me tell you about Florida. Florida don't play.
Mm-mm.
Florida is going after the organizer, and they arrested several of them, took the bikes, and now going after the organizer to criminally charge them.
Wow.
They don't play in Orlando. You think that? But what was funny in seeing this when they said team takeover, and I go to the news, and you see all these kids with helmets on,
pedaling.
They all had electric bikes. Every one of them had an electric bike. But they had helmets. You gonna be a gangster with a helmet.
So they out here looking like slow rolling buffalo coming through neighborhoods.
So when I ride my bike through the city, everybody, and I know I should, that everybody's going to get on me. It's time to go. But you should have your helmet on. But I'm like, nah, they be thinking, I ain't 5. No.
No.
Sunday, Pappy Martin, Sunday, July 26th, Pappy Martin Legacy. Anybody says nothing to do in Buffalo, you just not paying attention. It's so much going on this weekend. The health fair, True Bethel, will be here on the grounds tomorrow. Come. Health Fair Gospel Fest is tomorrow. Tomorrow, July 25th, 22nd annual Queen City Jazz Festival. And then coming up, a whole lot coming up. The original Taking It to the Streets. So it's a lot to do in Buffalo right now.
And if you love Italian food, the Italian Fest is
is a lot going on at one weekend. You can get it's Canal Fest too. Canal Fest was last week.
Last weekend.
Hobson's, the Doctor of Dry Cleaning, 874 East Delavan Avenue. That's Hobson's, the Doctor of Dry Cleaning. Listen, if you got clothes over there, go get them. If you don't have clothes over there, take them to them. Thank you, Hobson's, for sponsoring us for more than a decade. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, 347 Peckham, 2528 Bailey, 1275 Sycamore. In your hour of need, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. And you never know, it might be a day that I'm working. You know, I love driving the hearse. That's my thing. Give me the hearse.
Yeah.
Give me the hearse.
Yeah. Now, don't. I mean, you can go to Brian and get served by the bishop. Just don't anticipate because you went to Brian. He's preaching a eulogy.
Well, I have had the double duty. I have had to dry the hearse, preach. Yeah. Close. I do whatever it is. That they need me to do. I love servicing families. It's a big deal to me. It's a ministry.
Absolutely.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. How many minutes I got?
We got 2 minutes left.
We have 2 minutes left. Peanut butter and jelly on what kind of toast? What kind of bread?
Well, because I'm vegan now, I don't.
Are you now identifying as vegan?
Yes, but I would definitely go.
Let's go back to when you were.
I would go honey, probably the honey whole grain or white, either one.
Okay. I agree with the whole grain. Black eyed peas or green beans?
I'm gonna tell you, I've never had black eyed peas in my life, so
what?
I'm going green beans.
You don't have. Give me your card. Give me your black card.
I've never had it, not a day in my life. Not one.
Because they didn't cook it in your house, or?
My grandmother wasn't big on them, so I'd never had them, and she was the only one that cooked soul food for me.
Okay, here's the nastiest one before we sign off. Pig feet or chitlins?
Neither.
For me either.
We are off the plantation. We are good now.
I don't want a foot or a gut.
I don't want anything I got.
Until next week, power to the people.